Hey, welcome again to Electrical Theology, my cosmic brothers and sisters, and my first beings. I appreciate you showing up each and every day, Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, for this esoteric teachings, these sermons I give. And why do I give them? Is because the cosmic world is changing. How is it changing? Well, it's always changing. Right? Imagine the universe as a small town. And in the small town, before there was a road, somebody just took a walking path. And that path, over time, going back and forth, uh, grooved out a noticeable pathway. And then other people started going to this pathway. Some pathways were there because of animals, right? And their migration. The humans, in one essence, is animal. We're animus. And we walk a path. The path is part of the plan. The plan is from that. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go watch the videos on that, this, Shambhala, and all that stuff. For those who are new, for those who have been with me, you know what I'm talking about. And our plan is to continually develop the planet, or the planet. It's to then develop the plants, right? The planets. And so each person, we talked about this in one video, where the consciousness, you're either an earth-based person dominantly, and you can do the rest of them, but you're dominantly about the earth, about taking care of it, whatever that is for you. And then you have the plants. So you have people who love to deal and grow plants, right? And all that contains horticulture or whatever. It's not my world. And then you have your animals. So you have people who love and just treat animals like an equal, right? They work with animals, animal shelters, right? So on and so forth. I helped support a big animal shelter here for a long time, and but I'm not an ant. I don't take care of the animals themselves. And then there's people who take care of humans, right? The human planet, and the humans. And these can be doctors, these can be psychologists, these can be caretakers, whatever this is, but they take care of humans, and humans are their main concern. It's not to say they can't take care of plants and animals, but their main concern, their dominant concern, is with humans. And then there are some who are in charge, if you will, or their dominance is guiding about the soul. And this could be pastors, shamans, gurus, right? Teachers of all sorts, about educating people about the soul. And then there's people who then deal on higher realms about spirituality. Now, spirituality is a very neutral word I'm using right now, but it's about understanding uh, more on a quantum level. And we go beyond the spiritual slash God into the dominant God. The dominant God is neither male nor female. It is just an existence of consciousness. And this isn't the religious God that's worshipped in the soul area, right? Because religions are here to help you manage your soul. In essence, just like the doctors are here to help you manage your health, if you want them to. I prefer to be the author of my own ship, and I educate myself about all the alternatives and as well as allopathic medicine. No, I'm not a doctor, but I study that medicine, because if something's going on with me, then I have both the allopathic and the naturopathic, if you will, or the holistic or alternative world. I can look at both of them and combine the two. Neither is good nor bad. They are integrated. And so on the quantum level, with photons being the smallest particle of light, if you will, it's a quanta. Quanta is sort of the plural of quantum. And in one essence, you are a single particle of light. You walking in your Earth's shell is one singular light. And joining with other ones, we become part of the quantus, right? Which just simply means how much. And we can get into the breakdown of that word, but again, this is an etymology class. Y'all can look it up, Google it, Wikipedia, whatever. You'll understand quantum a little better. Now, why do I talk about quantum? Because when we get into the God particle, and again, this is a classical manifestation, and we've been talking about how to manifest through the ionic pathways, right? Because that's the path. We talked about the plan, and that's about the path. And we talked about how to manifest, and when we talked about this last Friday, or Saturday, I believe it was, is that we talked about how thoughts form, and how we can unform those thoughts, clean them up, and then restructure them or reconstruct them into a new thought. Right? But today we're going to sort of talk about the quantum of how and why we need to understand light in a dimensional sense. You have a lot of people who talk about 3D, 5D, and stuff like this. That's great. They talk about dimensions when they say D, for those who don't know. But for me to just regulate and say it's just, we're going from 3 to 5 is a structure, and I get that. But you're still structuring yourself within a quantum field. And this quantum field, in one essence, is dimensional. And we have the ability to go beyond 5th dimension, 6th dimension, 7th dimension, 8, 9 dimensions. We talk about the 9 dimensions on here all the time, the 7 dimensions, right? These are the dimensions. These are the dimensions that we talk about. And here's all the different planetary soul, animus, goddess, all this quantum. These are all dimensions, right? So there is no, to limit yourself in one sense to saying that you're either 3 and you're moving into 5D. I get the buzzword of certain people creating a buzz around these words, and I stay away from that. I'm more on the fringe of the fray. And it's not to debunk what they're saying, it's just I want to have you understand that it's dimensional, diamonds, ions. Dimensional is just you can communicate. How broad and focused do you want it to communicate? You can go to 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, right? And part of manifesting is understanding where you're coming from and for what purpose. Right? This is going to help you focus, right? We are changing. All the dimensions are changing, right? Just like the pathway we talked about, is that you started walking that pathway, and then if more people walked it, it became a broader pathway, and the next thing you know, because of this being able to go through one side of the mountain to the other side, you see a different world. And so you start traveling, you start telling more people about it. And other people don't want to have to walk that far, so they start, out of necessity, they invent. Right? Invention is invent ions. So then they tap into more ions from the quantum fields, not just 3 or 4 or 5D or 1D or whatever they want to talk about. It's any dimension. It's what you're willing to open up to, just like these inventors, right, opened up to the quantum field and said, hey, I'm lazy. I want something quicker and faster. Right? So then they got an image of a car in their head. So then, or a horse and buggy. Right? Someone invented the wheel and then the horse and buggy. Right? And then someone tamed horses. And then the pathway became a horse way, a buggy way, and then a car way. You see what I'm saying? And next thing you know, it creates an interstate. And then that interstate creates bridges upon that interstate. Right? I grew up in Florida in a bit, and we had one little street through our town, and I went back a few years ago, and there's literally 6 lanes of traffic on each side, and I couldn't even find my way in the town I grew up in because it had expanded, right? So your mind is expansive, right? Expansion, this is why we talk about the realms of expanding consciousness, because I'm teaching you how to expand your consciousness, not only into 5D or 6D, I'm talking multiple Ds, guys, all right? Dimensions upon dimensions, diamonds, ions upon diamonds, ions, right? And diamonds, yes, sounds like diamonds, right? Because I'm trying to get you in touch with the photonic quantum understanding. We don't need to go all physics here. What I'm saying is helping you understand that you are light particles. And when you want to manifest, it's understanding that we can take this quantum thought and direct it, because the more I'm trying to get you to enlighten yourself by taking responsibility for those thoughts, actions, and emotions, you're going to help the energy and motion move, or the photons and the electrons wrapped in an atom, right? That then creates quantum and movement that then creates quantum mechanics, right? And we talk radiation, radiatory movement, right? Understanding how everything happens. Just like kids today can look at an interstate and go and don't even understand how that first road got there. Right? People have paved the way. And so if you want to pave your own way, then you have to take author of your own ship. Right? So part of what we're going to understand here, again, when you look at it, and go off screen for a second, when you look at here, this is your universal divine circuit we've talked about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch those videos. So first in life, we feel we don't have. Right? We want to manifest. Manifest is to man-I-fest. Right? We can look at man-I-feast on ions. Right? Mana. We can change the man-I to man-a. Right? It's all man. Right? The human. H-U-E man. And we're in a light particle. Right? It's when light goes through a prism. Right? We talk about the triangle, the trinities on here. And so when that expressed itself and created a triangle, right, a trinity, it then shot out the 7 spectrums, and we've talked about. Right? So there's a pathway. So understanding this pathway inside you, you're part of this pathway. So that's why we become empathic. The more energy that we take responsibility for within our life, within our body. I know this sounds sort of boring, you know, if it is, I encourage you to just hang with me because we got to understand how to manifest stuff because what is happening is that the quantum field is shifting to where you will be able to think something and instantly it will be there. So you understand what dangers this pose, right? What this danger poses. That's the correct term. Because some people won't know how to handle this. Right, telekinetics, photokinetics, right? There's all this energy that builds up, and when people expresses their emotions because they don't know how to express them properly, that's charged energy. That's radiation, radiating ions, and when it's amplified, it can cause damage to people, places, and things around them. So we're coming into this new quantum field or this phase, right? And that's why I'm bringing this information is to help you understand. This is what the galactics are sharing, is that there's a quantum phase coming in. There's a big tidal wave coming in the conscious realm. And that's about to shift the way you perceive everything. Religions call it the second coming. That there's some divine being coming back. From Hinduism to Buddhism to Christianity to Islam, everyone's talking about something coming back. So there's a shift of consciousness that's changing where you will be able to perceive things differently. Not everyone's going to adapt to this shift. Not everyone wants to adapt to this shift. Does everyone want to go to the beach? No. Does everyone want to go climb mountains? No. Now, for what purpose do you want to adapt to this? Well, those who seek and understand the higher planes and who they are at the core of their existence, to the quantum of their photonic existence. Right? It's a consciousness. Not everyone wants to go down this road. That's fine. Right? They want to travel on roads that have already been paved. So some of us, since we've been born, and yes, there are names from star seeds to crystal kids and all this stuff. I don't get into the naming of things, really, I don't. I try to take them down to their etymological origins. Right? So, and basically, we come in here and at some point you say, I don't have something, right? We want something, right? There's an apple. I want to eat an apple, right? But the apple we think is so far away from us, when in essence, the apple is already within us. I know that sounds weird for a minute, but hang in there. So you say, I don't have money. I don't have a place to live. I don't have a car. I don't have. You're hooked into the I don't haves, right? Instead of understanding be, have, do. You are a being that has whatever you want. You just have to do some work. Right? The universe will do 90%. All you have to do is do the 10. Initiate it. You're the initiate. Right? But you have to initiate the flow. And this is how you initiate the flow to manifesting what you want in this quantum field, in this dimension. So you say, I want an apple. Now, why do you want anything? Why do you want this thing that's called money or love or cars or whatever, or concepts or clarity, right? These are all things, thought things, physical things, mental things. So why do you want them? Right? So you have to come up with a clear reason why you want something. Right? If it's from lack mentality that you say I don't have, then you're not understanding the process. So you need to understand and take responsibility that it's you who's not having, because you're saying I don't have, therefore you won't have. So when you're ready to have, then you're going to say, okay, I want an apple. So we focus on what we don't want first, and then we focus on what we do want by just looking at it. Well, I don't have an apple. Well, do you want an apple? Yeah, I want an apple. Okay, there we go. So when we want an apple, for what purpose? Right? That may sound funny because you say, okay, I'm hungry. Well, that's a great one. Right? But I may want apples to then barter with someone to make apple cider for me. And I want the apple cider, not really the apples, even though it's still apples. Right? So I want the apples for many different reasons. I can pick apples off my tree and then go to the corner and sell them by the bushel and make money. So what's the reason you want anything in this life? Take a very fine focus on why it is you want what you want. Love, people, places, things. Why do you want them? For what reason? Is there a lack? If there is, you're only going to transmit a weak signal. Right? And we want bold, committed, devotional signals sent out. If you are not devoted to increasing your abundance, if you're not here to increase more ions or photons or electrons, right? You can call it an apple, but they're all photons, energy, electrons, atoms, right? So then once you understand the reason and you're clear about the reason why you want this apple, I can use it as a weapon to throw at someone's head, right? Figure out the reason. So then once I'm ready, I'm going to say, okay, I choose to have an apple. See, I'm no longer in the wanting, the low frequencies. Right? We talked about the realms of expanding consciousness, and the first one's physical father, mental mother, and then you. So you got to make a choice. I choose. Right? My choice is to have an apple because I'm hungry. Right? And then are you ready to receive that apple? Right? So the next question is okay, yeah, I want this. I want this. I'm choosing this. Right? I'm stepping that frequency up. I choose it. It's my choice. I take authority. I choose it. Now that's great that you say you may want $1 million, but are you again ready for that $1 million? Is your bank account set up? Do you have management? Who are you going to go to? What bank are you going to put the money into? Are you going to invest it? Right? Are you ready to handle the people who are going to come after you because they want it from state governments? To other thugs, to other people, to other third cousin twice removed, they're all going to come at you, right? If this is your poverty mentality, I'm just giving you examples of if you're not clear about what you want, that when you say I choose, right, what you're doing is setting into motion photons, electrons, ions that are beginning to form in the Shambhala realms, right? We talked about this, Shambhala, hierarchy, God, and then into our realm. So are you ready to tell this energy to form and come into your life? Right? Hopefully this helps you take pause and go, okay, really do I want this thing that I'm saying I want? And do I really want it? And is there a lack mentality? Or am I trying to impress someone with this thing? Right? Is that where you're putting your value? Is it in someone else's opinion? Right? So look at why you want this thing. Again, person, place, or thing. But then when you're ready, and you say, "Yeah, I am ready. I understand why it is I want it, and I'm open. I'm ready. I'm ready to receive it." So this is where we boldly state, or committed state, right? Because this is desired state, present state. I'm in my present state. I'm in desired state. I want to bring this to me. I want to manifest it. Now, again, we're going into the higher quantums, or the higher quantas, to be plurally correct. And so your thoughts, even your subconscious thoughts, can manifest instantly in this new wave that's coming, right? Because there's a higher pathway that's grooving out, right? Our next consciousness. There's a new pathway for consciousnesses to go to, right? Because you've done your work, the little trail doesn't work anymore, you're ready for a bigger path. And this is why most of y'all are beginning to feel a call for something bigger. This is why you're even here on this earth, is to start living fully your path and walking your path with truth, right? And authority and authenticity and all those words. Right, so we boldly state, I commit. I commit to having this apple, right? I'm taking authorship. It's my ship, right? I'm relating to ions, and I'm going to relate them and tell them exactly how I want them in order to come to me. Right? So then we go, and this is where we cross over. This is where the arc, this is where the hierarchy happens, right? Because they don't touch, the hierarchy just jumps. Because we are the ones amping this up through this statement here. This committed statement, this devotional statement has power. And as you boldly state, right? If you go into a boss and say, hey, I want a raise, but you're all skittish and your eyes are on the ground and your shoulders are hunched, you really think that boss is going to give it to you? No, but if I walk in there boldly and say, hey, I'm your top salesman and I'm ready to be a partner in this business, and I want it or I'm gone. Now, you don't have to give them ultimatums, but you understand the energy of the boldness, right? Or a football player on the field getting bold. Let's go, right? That boldness, right? How well it sounds like, okay, team, let's go. Yeah, we can do this, I think. That's not bold. So we need to make bold statement. This is how you're charging the energy that's about to come to you. If it's weak, it's going to come in, and you're going to manifest in a weak state. And wonder why you still have weakness in your life, right? So once you make this committed statement, then you're going to start receiving. We transmit it. This is all father energy, dominant energy. Right? Now we're going to go into the receiving. And once that arc is made, that hierarchy is made, you start coming into the God realm. And so this is the devotional commitment to receive now, not to transmit, but to receive. I am open and devoted. What does that mean? It means I'm going to physically meditate. He said I'm going to be open and grateful, right, to the possibilities that I have just transmitted. And as I open up, as I'm undefended and open my heart, this is how the energy comes in, is through my heart. Right? My soul, my spirit, it's going through the realms. Remember, it's going through the pathways, the 7 frequencies. It's all building together to come together electromagnetically on the quantum field, right? Because you thought it. And the more you hone this thought, the more you focus this thought, the more you're devoted to this thought, and the amazement of, and that's what gratitude is that you're able to see the entire process, the road all the way to the major interstate, right? And you're able to see all this. So you are able to see this in a quantum second, if you will. And if you can see it clearly in a quantum second, then this new quantum field is going to be the pathway for which you're able to manifest instantly. So we have to be very cautious, right? The caveat emptor. Right? Buyer beware, we have to be ready. Are you ready to receive this? So I'm devoted to receiving. If you're not devoted to receiving about what you're about to receive, then you got to go back. And you got to say, okay, why is it I think I don't have what it is I'm about to receive? You have the quantum field. You are part of the quantum field. You have everything inside you. Now it's just getting the intelligence and the enlightenment to say, hey, I'm aware of all this stuff now. I've opened up. I've meditated on this. Right? I'm opening up. And when I do, then I'm committed to receiving what it is I manifest. So a lot of this manifestation then is that there's a lot of things we think we need or want, and we really don't. So what we do is we get rid of all this extra clutter in our heads and make room for a nice, clear road. There's not a bunch of bush or dead carcasses on my pathway, right? So what we're doing is filling in this quantum. This is our thought. This is our body. And we're filling in from 1 to 21. We're beginning to fill in these ions, right? These photons, electrons. We're filling them in and putting them and arcing them with consciousness, right? With authorship, and being able to organize them in such a way that when we do manifest it, it's exactly what we wanted, or close to it, right? I like a little surprise every now and then. So hopefully you're understanding this manifestation and why it's important that we understand um, the intricacies of it. It doesn't mean we don't need to all go study quantum mechanics, but what I would encourage is not getting locked up in names like 3D, 5D, stuff like this. One, none of us really understand that. What we can understand is the pathway, and our pathways are telepathic ways. And what we're doing is opening up and grooving out our own unique signature. So then we can become the mediumship. Now we can then transmit our thought, have the quantum ship, if you will, begin to take ions, put them in order, arc them, bring them to the guide consciousness, and then fill them up in the 7 frequencies that we are here living under. There's more. Again, I'm keeping everything simple, guys. Because again, to talk quantums, then I'm talking to a whole different audience, which I don't want to. I want to talk to just people like me, right? So anyway, I think that's enough for today. So that's manifesting. Start understanding. Go back and watch some of the other videos on manifesting and understanding this, that, and Shambhala, and then this is going to help you understand, because going forward, we're going to really start putting ions together, and we're going to use the tarot, right, that we've been teaching on Wednesdays, right, and then being able to receive and understand right where our quantum process is. So we don't get impatient, because we know that things are still forming in the background, so we're not going to force the issue because of fear or lack mentality. Alright guys, I think that'll be about do it today. So I appreciate you coming in, joining me, and listening to me babble on about this stuff. And then we'll see you again Monday, and that will be the divine readings, and see what the ancestors or the galactics have for us. And then I look forward to seeing you again. Like, subscribe, share this information with all your friends, families, and get ready for this quantum wave that's hitting us right now, guys. All right? See you.